And so we are an inviting church. We want all the broken people to come in. We want people to be healed. We want people to be made how God has made them. We want people to come here and find healing. I like Jesus' statement, and that is, he says he didn't come for the righteous, but for sinners. And, I look forward to the day when our church here on a Sunday morning is filled with all the sinners. I know we're kind of sinners too, redeemed by the blood of Christ, but we need more sinners in this place. Right? I'm not encouraging you to sin. I'm just saying we need more sinners. Right? Okay, so. But when there is sin, and when this church is in the world, in the midst of all that sin, there has to be a confronting of sin. Sin has to be confronted. Our very lives as being Christians confront sin. That's why people are so against us. Verse 19. Now summon the people from all over Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, and bring the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah, who eat at Jezebel's table. And so Ahab sent the word throughout all of Israel and assembled the prophets on Mount Carmel. And you look at that and you think, well, that's not fair. 850 prophets of Baal and Asherah against one. That's just not fair. Or if you look at it the right way, you'll say, oh boy, that's really not fair. It's 2 against 850. And it's not fair to the 850. Because it's Elijah and God working together, which is much larger than 850 prophets. 2 against 850. It's no contest at all. Just like when you go into your school, when you go into your workplace, when you go home, and you think, I'm in that kind of situation where, God, I don't know if I can handle it. And we need to change our thinking. We need to think, no, it's me and God stepping into those places. He's called us into those places to be that light. You and God, look out school, look out work, look out home. You and God together. It's no contest at all. Verse 21, Elijah went before the people and said, how long will you waver between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. But the people said nothing. That last line irks me. Right? The people said nothing. Is it that they don't want to have to make a decision? I wonder how this battle is going to work. Fire is being called down from heaven on both of these altars. I wonder who's going to win. Maybe the Baal God will win. And so I don't want to make a decision yet. Let's see what goes on and figure it out from there. And they're thinking probably, if you say, okay, God is God, I'm making my decision, well then I think I need to change things in my life. And I'm scared to change things because I like my life. But what they don't get is that there is so much awesome blessing from God when we're serving him that life becomes just so much greater. Sometimes we say nothing because we might already be bowing down to the demonic Baal god. We might be kind of locked in there a little bit. We might have made up our mind and says, I like these things. And so sometimes we're bowing down to the wrong God. But they said nothing. And that's our world today. Stick my head in the sand when it comes to God, when it comes to being right before God or holy. If God is real, people often say, if God is real, he can come calling to me. He can show himself to me. I'm going to put the onus on him. Verse 22, then Elijah said to them, I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left. But Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bowls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves, and let them cut it into pieces and put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. I will prepare the other bowl and put it on the wood, but not set fire to it. Then you call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, the God who answers by fire. Whoever the God who answers by fire, he is God. And then the people said, okay, what you say is good. So now, they're not having to make a decision, but they're seeing what he proposes, and they're thinking, okay, well, we have a chance here to decide after the fact. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of this Bible movie, God was showing that he was God over the weather, over the crops. Baal was saying he was the God over that. God was showing, no, you're nothing. You're a false God. You have nothing. And God is saying, I'm the one over everything. And I'm over the weather and over the crops. And he brought the drought. And here they're saying, okay, the God who answers by fire, he is God. God is throwing it in Baal's face again. He's doing that same thing that he did earlier. And I don't know if you remember, but Baal is the god of the storm. He's depicted by lightning. Right? He's a lightning bolt. And it should be easy for Baal to throw down one of his lightning bolts and bring fire to this altar as his priests are dancing around it. And so God is saying, I'm giving you every chance in the world. You're the lightning god. Do your thing. So Baal's prophets went first. They called on their demon god Baal. They went from morning to noon, calling out to Baal. There's no answer. They danced and they shouted and they cut themselves, and still there was no answer. Elijah encouraged them. He said, shout louder. Surely he's a powerful God. And so they shouted louder, and they slashed themselves with swords, the Bible says. He kept on mocking them. Maybe Baal is deep in thought. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe your Baal God, your most powerful Baal God, is sleeping in, and someone needs to go and wake him. Or maybe he's in the bathroom and the door is closed because he's busy. We don't know. But they called out all day, and the Bible says, and the prophets of Baal, their blood flowed because they were trying to move the hand of their God. Verse 30, then Elijah said to all the people, come here to me. They came to him and repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. Elijah took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, your name shall be Israel. With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it, large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. He arranged the wood, cut the bowl into pieces, laid it on the wood. Then he said to them, fill 4 large jars with water, and pour it on the offering and on the wood. Then he said, do it again. And they did it again. And do it a third time, he says. And they did it a third time. In verse 35, the water ran down the altar, even filled the trench. At the time of the sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed, Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. Isn't that the whole reason of this story? That God is looking to turn their hearts back to him again. Isn't that the whole reason that God sent Jesus Christ, his Son, to this earth to die on the cross? Because God was looking to turn our hearts back to him again.